This gardening video is going to be a little bit different than the gardening videos I usually do. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about my simple yet successful guide to growing a great garden in your own backyard. This could be a large space garden, a small space garden, a raised bed garden, an in-ground garden, doesn't matter. These are things I've noticed really work when you're going to do a garden. This is a video centered mainly around my garden, but you can take ideas and put it into your garden as well. Also, a little bit off topic, but this morning something bad ended up happening to my chicken flocks, so if you want, you can go pray for them real quick. The thing that is on a community tab, if you want to check it out, but if you don't want to, it's okay. So let's get into it. First of all, no garden is complete without fertilizer, and I think this goes for everyone. Everyone knows to put fertilizer in their garden regularly. You don't want to do it every time you go in there to water the garden, but you want to apply to the garden every now and then. You can look up stuff that like regards around the fertilizer you use. For us, since we're up here in Zone 6B, Northwestern Connecticut, we're going to be using 10-10-10 fertilizer. If you're in a similar climate, where in the summer it gets really hot, but in the winter it can dip down into the negatives, well, that has nothing to do with that. But like if it's in an environment like here, then I think that type of fertilizer is what you should look into. But don't take that for granted, because you need to make sure that like you know exactly what fertilizer it is. And also, don't take fertilizer for granted, because healthy plants don't just come from fertilizer, they come from other things too, like this. Keeping your garden protected from birds, and it's something I really need to get around to doing, but sadly every time I think I have time in my schedule, turns out something new pops up. Like this morning, I wanted to get in the garden, do some gardening work, and get the broccoli in, because those guys are ready for fall crop, and see if I can plant some last minute gourds and do the harvest on like October 15th. But as soon as they open up the gates this morning, I hear loud noises down by the farm flock chicken coop. I run down there, of course, and sadly we lost a chicken. My guess is 2, could just be 1, or it could be 3. Probably just, my maximum guess is 2 though. We lost a gray chicken and a black hopper marin. I found the body of the marin. She seemed to have been taken by surprise. She didn't seem to be terribly injured, so it might have just been a heart attack or something, but it was still a quite gruesome scene with tons of feathers. So that disrupted the garden work, so a little bit less time is being spent now building the cage, the strawberries and blueberries, because the squirrels are just part of the problem here in the garden. It is also these birds here that are just going to get in here. They're going to destroy the sunflower. Not the sunflowers, they will destroy those guys though. I do see a nice tall sunflower there though. I think it's going to be able to bring us some nice flowers very soon. But keeping those pests out of your garden is one really hard thing to do sometimes. And of course, you're going to need to water your garden. Now, you want to do a little bit of research before you begin watering your garden. Make sure that you're giving them the proper dosage of water, because you don't want to be giving, like, if you have like for whatever reason cactus plants in your garden, you don't want to be putting them, if you're doing an irrigation system, on the same zone as plants like tomatoes, which require 1 to 2 inches of water per week. Because last time I checked, I don't really think cactuses take 1 to 2 inches of water per week. So you can just see all these plants in here. All of them are in different zones, because that's how it's going to work. So that's quite interesting. And also, another thing that's really important is that you also harvest regularly. It sounds really cliche, but it is. Harvesting your garden really frequently is good to keep the stuff out of there. Now here's the thing, if you let the stuff get too ripe, or you miss it by like even just a couple hours, the birds or the bugs are going to break into your garden, and they're not going to be too happy with you. They're going to be taking your plants away from you. So that's where protection comes in for your garden. However, as you probably know, there's beetles and stuff like that that can actually slip through those that little mesh that you put on top of it, and there's nothing you could really do about that. So that's why harvesting things as soon as possible and as frequent as possible is best. So that's why sometimes in like random videos, like last summer back in August, I did a video talking about how we harvested 98 bales of hay, and then just randomly at the end of the video I did a garden harvest. That is because I need to harvest the garden really constantly from around late July to early September if I want any good shots at being able to keep the garden nice and healthy. So that was about all I could really think of. Comment down below some other tips for other gardeners that I may have missed in this video, because I can assure you I missed literally like half the concepts I teach in my gardening videos in this video. Those are just a quick little video talking about some concepts that I put in my garden that really work out. If you really want to see more about gardening, then be sure to click the playlist on the screen right now, which features gardening tutorials, gardening videos, garden tours, garden harvests, everything from this season, and there'll be updated videos 2 to 3 times per week. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.